Hello and welcome to another Coach Talk by Cycling Form and Fitness. I'm the owner of Cycling Form and Fitness. My name is Jeff Melcher. Been bike fitting since 2008, been coaching since 2008. And what I'm doing today is just explaining how recently I started to evaluate bike fit artificial intelligence, if you will, just the new video capabilities where angles can be measured for a bike fitter. So they're spending less time trying to deal with putting body markers on, trying to get angle measurements aligned just right. Anyone that's done a bike fit with me through the last, I guess it's 9 years now, will have had that experience where it takes me a lot of time to measure all these things while you sit there and keep spinning on the bike. Maybe you have try to have some conversation with me, but it's difficult for me to measure accurately and have a conversation. So the customer's kind of put on hold. Never did like that very much, but I felt like it was good to have video-based measurements, so I did it. And what you're seeing here is the different ranges I came up with over time. I started with somewhat standard ranges, and then I customized those based on experience on what worked for athletes. And I've been doing this since 2016. But one of the things that we know is that there's probably a better way of doing things as we evolve. So 9 years later, here we go. So I purchased some software, let's call it my Bike Fit Assistant. So my Bike Fit Assistant is able to do different measurements. I did their free version, but that certainly didn't help. It just gave me an idea that the saddle forearm might need to be adjusted and the arm pad height would require a large adjustment. But it didn't tell me like which direction to go. It didn't give me any specific angles. So obviously, trying to be cheap and do this for free wasn't going to work. So then I did the paid part because as a coach, I wanted to have the software built into my process. I kind of knew I was going to go there anyways. So then this is the review of a video I made in the middle of 2025 of a bike fit that I thought was pretty good. And the advice it gave was move the saddle back 5 millimeters, raise your bars 10 millimeters. It also gave me the specific angles with a few of those showing in, I guess, the red. You probably would call it knee flexion at the top of the pedal stroke, orange 101, a few degrees outside of their ranges. And again, this is a bike fitter that made this video analysis tool, and they have their ranges. And I guess as bike fitters, we all could have different ranges. But I found them to be good because there's a few inputs that I'll explain later that help make sure that these ranges are appropriate for you. So that's what I'm testing. Does it give me good feedback that I can use during the bike fit process quicker to satisfy customers better and make us have a better finished product, which is you being comfortably faster on the bike. So back angle 14 degrees, out by a couple degrees. Saddle a little too far forward. So that's interesting. Mid 2025 review. Video analysis number 2 was their stretching and flexibility. So it has you go through like a squatted stance with your hands high, so bottom of squat, knee lift while you're standing straight up and down, bottom of bend measurements. So with your legs locked, you're bending over, and then shoulder mobility. So you kind of reach around to your back, and you're seeing how close you can get your hands behind your back. So I did this, and it said I was moderate. I was pretty much on the edge of being very flexible and moderately flexible. So it is what it is. That input is used into the bike fitting process. So I did bike fit number 3. Video analysis number 3. This is of a current video, so this is October 24th. So I took some fresh video, saddle height, it wanted me to go 5 millimeters lower, kind of a yellow situation, not a red. And said I should check my handlebar and arrow bar for height afterwards, and I should check for afterwards. So interesting. One thing at a time, take another video and redo this process. But you know, I'm trying to learn how the tool works, so I kept going along with it. So you can see the knee flexion angle is 1 degree out. Probably could make that yellow. It's 103, and that's at the top of the pedal and stroke. I think that's far less important. I have shorter cranks, so I tend to have a little bit more of a relaxed angle at the top, which I don't think is a negative. The hip close, 45 yellow. The back angle still at 14 degrees. Likes me up to at least 17. Arm angle of 80. Kind of a yellow situation. And surprising to me, my knee extension, right at the cusp, but probably a little too high. This knee extension angle has changed dramatically over the years. When I started bike fitting school, 25 to 30 was the range. And yeah, now we're calling 31 red. But I don't disagree with it. There's been some things that have changed in bike fitting, and I tend to migrate towards best practice and test it. And I agree with what they're suggesting for angles now. Okay, so another day or two later, another adjustment. So what did I do? I updated the seat location. I moved it down per their recommendations. I also went slightly back. I just felt like I was going to do better with it, being a few millimeters back. As you go down, you're going forward with the seat. So as I went down, I wanted to go back. And I did that review again. I didn't want to raise the bars or change the bars because that's a lot of work. I wanted to move the seat down first and see what it did. Still says, again, to raise the bars 10 millimeters. Just a couple reds now. So doing better. Sorry about the congestion. A little tea will probably help. So my knee extension guide to the green, knee flexion at the top still in the yellow, but like I said, less concerned about that because of shorter cranks. And my back angle is now at 15 degrees, which is probably where I'm going to settle. I think 15 degrees is really comfortable for me. It's probably been about the highest I've had for the front end of my bike relative to the seat. So again, more adjustments. This is with me raising the arrow bars 10 millimeters. I felt like that was smart to go 10 millimeters. I wanted to see what it would feel like. And I got more advice. I got more advice to move the saddle back, another 5 millimeters, raise the handlebars another 10 millimeters. And now it's saying shorter cranks might help, you know, with the hip angle. I'm already using 155 millimeters. So the cranks are relatively short for me already. And then, of course, request help from expert if needed. So that's the language. That didn't tell me very much. I don't want to pay $150 to send this to a bike fit expert and then, you know, wait to get further analysis. To me, that's a huge chunk of time. I don't have time for that. So what did I do? One of the things I started to notice is that all this clutter you're seeing behind me in the background, that was a concern. And what color kit I'm wearing, it can be a concern. So you need a high contrast between the background and the kit. Pretty easy to do, but not so easy if I have all this garbage in the back. So what I have here is joint angle details look to be skewed due to black in the kit. So I'm going to switch to my USA kit and compare. Because some of these angles didn't make perfect sense and they've actually changed a little bit more than they should have. So onward we go. So now I'm comparing angles with measurements between dark and light for both kit and background. So some of my background clutter was removed. I changed my kit, compared these measurements. Starting to make more sense, but you can tell I've had some variation here. Just by backgrounds and kits, the back angle went 16, 15, 16, pretty close, almost in the range. The hip closed angle went 44, 47, 45. Again, just enough variance there to kind of drive your bike fitting a little crazy, perhaps if you don't use the information carefully and set things up carefully. Knee flexion 104, 102, 103, what is it? Again, not a huge variance, a couple degrees. And the extension, is it green, is it red, 33, 31, 33. So those were lessons learned about having no clutter in the background or reduce the clutter, especially right behind the bike and different colors. Yeah, I've even removed more and I have just the gray wall now. Lessons learned. Yeah, so this is a little bit more so you can see that things have evolved as I went into these various videos. I just keep doing one video after another. These are some of the measurements that I got from that last one. So then onward to video number 6. Okay, so this is my analysis of the arrow bar decrease by 5 degrees and the seat angle 2 degrees further down. I did that as a video because I felt like those were the last suggestions that I was willing to make. And it came up with I should raise my bars 10 millimeters more. That's a constant. The reason being is the back angle is at 16. This AI feature wants me to be within 17 to 25. Hip angle is right at the borderline. I'm pretty flexible, so that works for me. Knee flexion, again, I'm ignoring that because of the short cranks. So my conclusions, setup matters. The lighting, the camera position, background colors, and kit colors matter. I can't have people come in and just have like a pretty much any color kit just so it doesn't match my gray wall. I can take everything off that back wall and I can get good results. Mechanics matter. Whether you're doing this at home, which I don't recommend, or I'm doing it, that person's got to have the ability to make adjustments and to do them well, to do them mechanically correct, and to swap out components as needed to fine-tune your position on the bike. So that's really tough for the person at home. They might not have everything needed. Adjustments matter. Adjusting one feature at a time leads to many videos, and they sometimes conflict a little bit in the feedback you're getting. Measurement ranges matter. I disagree with a few of the range limits that this AI system has, including back angle and knee flexion. But remember, I'm on the borderline of being very flexible versus moderately flexible. So it's client independent. I can get away with a little bit more than the average person because of genetics, flexibility, and doing yoga most days. The views matter. So one side is what this system is doing. It doesn't take in the front and the back side and the other side. They're just not addressed. And by not looking at the front, back, and the other side, you can miss alignment issues and stability problems, and that could really compromise the bike fit. And aerodynamics matter. At the end of the day, this isn't a wind tunnel. It's trying to get you comfortable, and there's always that balance between comfort and speed, aerodynamics. So last thing here, my before and after picture, you can see they're subtly different. Seat went down, the bars, the base, the arrow bars went up 10 millimeters. Seat's a little further back. But you know, one thing I did do is with that lower seat, I can make a little bit more power. So I've been doing some power testing. I'm going to test power again today. And surprisingly, I do feel more powerful. So it's interesting how seats have just gotten to be lower and lower. I do feel a little bit more relaxed in this new position too. So it's been a good thing. So I explained what those changes were down here. And a little bit less angle, which actually allowed my head to kind of drop into this area that I'm trying to close up. I don't have a water bottle in between my arms, but I normally would ride and race with one, and that helps close up the bag. All good things. So aerodynamics, we don't really know until we get outside and we get a good test, but I was able to test this on a 60-degree day. And yeah, it was really just as fast as I've ever seen. And again, like I said, I felt like I had more power to give if I wanted to. So that's really good for test number one. So again, I put 10 hours in, I did 7 videos. I'm trying to decide like how to integrate this. I believe it's good for side view speed, so I can spend more time working with the customer and using their input to update their bike fit at $50 per month and then $20 for every session thereafter. So every bike fit I do, so each customer would be $50 for their first bike fit that I'm paying, and then $20 for every subsequent customer. So it gets pricey, but I think that speed and spending more time with you as a customer to get things right and listen, I think that's the most important part. And as I said, bike fitting basics start at the pedal, and this does not address your cleat situation. And that can be a big part of discomfort and optimization. So I don't recommend that people would do this at home. I mean, I spent 10 hours at least, and I had some errors to fix along the way. If you valued your time, even at $40 per hour, this is a $400 investment, and you might not have had all the parts and tools and the ability to be able to change everything. And last but not least, as I've said already, the back and the front view need to be analyzed as part of a bike fit. So hopefully that was informative. Sorry it went a little bit long. This one's going to be 17 minutes, but I wanted to make sure to cover it. So anyone coming in for a bike fit moving forward, anything more than a quick bike fit, because I only charge $75 for that, is going to have this tool and my AI assistant along for the ride. And it will make your experience smoother, faster, better, and the result comfortably faster. So, as always, reach out to me if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. Thanks for listening. I appreciate you. Have a great day.